Welcome back, crafty friends. It's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and I am back with another video celebrating World Card Making Day. As I have shared in my last two videos, I am celebrating the holiday by bringing you lots of videos this weekend where you can make quick and easy cards. This is either if you want to build your stash or if you're wanting to give them out as gifts maybe to family and friends. For today's video, I'm going to be using a sketch and kind of I call them sheet load of cards. You know, instead of saying like a different word for a whole bunch, I say sheet load because of course it's sheets of paper we use, and I usually end up with at least 10 cards when I do one of these. I did do this same layout for one of the Oh So Inspired blog hops. I will link that video below so you can go check that out if you want. But I really liked the layout. It was quick, it's a little different, and like always, my cards are usually really easy to recreate. I'm going to stick with a fall theme for this project, and I will be using the Thankful Heart Hot by Paper pad from Michaels. I have already pre-selected my papers. So I chose 4 papers out of there, and most of these will get cut the same exact way. I will have one that I cut just slightly different. So make sure to pay attention to that if you were going to follow along. Don't cut all 5 pieces the same way. For my sentiment, I am using this new stamp set that I found at Tuesday Morning. I just really like the inspiring sentiments on it. It is a Bo Bunny stamp set. It has great sentiments. Endings are just new beginnings in disguise. The secret to happiness is focusing more on others than ourselves. Thank you, my friend. Love is such a big word, it really should have more letters. I really like that one. You can do it, never give up. Always stay positive and open to possibility. I think these could probably be used for different occasions, so I thought that would be a good set to use for this. And then I chose some brown ink to kind of go with the colors of my card base and with the pattern paper. Speaking of card bases, I am going to end up with 12 cards in this video, so I got out 6 pieces of craft cardstock to cut for my card bases. I got out 2 extra pieces of craft for another panel on the card, and then I grabbed 3 off-white or natural ice colored cardstock. This is between a white and an ivory, and because the background of my pattern paper isn't white and isn't ivory, that's why I'm choosing this. But I will be using this for the inside of the card for a place to write a personal message, and then also for the sentiment on the front of the card. If you would like to join me in my journey today, go ahead and pause the video, go collect your supplies, and then hit play when you're ready to go. Before we get started on the cutting of the papers, I wanted to show you my first example that I created of these, how the card turns out in the end. And I think that's going to help you figure out how you want to cut your pattern papers here in just a little bit. So this card is just a standard size when it's folded, but it just has kind of a fun fold there. And then you can see on the inside, there's a piece of white to write the personal message. Most of your papers are going to be cut the same way, but we do have one pattern paper that we are just going to make extra of these skinny strips with. So you might want to decide which paper might fit best there, or you might want to use less of in the overall card. Here's a look at the pattern papers I'm going to be using. I have decided the extra piece that I just spoke about, where I'm only going to cut the skinny strips, I'm going to use this green checked pattern for that. So for now, I'm going to set this one to the side. The rest of these pattern papers will be cut the same exact way. So what I'm going to do, you kind of cut from the top. So I'm just going to turn this, and my first cut is going to be at 5 1/4 inches. My next cut will be at 2 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to make 2 strips that are 1 7/8 inches wide. I'm going to take that top piece, which I cut to 5 1/4 inches tall, and I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces that are 4 inches wide. The 2 3/4 inch tall strip, I'm going to cut into 3 pieces that are 3 3/4. And finally, these last 2 strips, I'm going to cut them into 4 total strips that are 1 7/8 inch tall by 5 1/4 inches long. So that means from each of the 4 pattern papers, I am going to get 3 pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4, 3 more pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and 4 strips that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. What I'm going to do off camera is go ahead and cut the rest of my main pattern papers that same way. I'm done with all of the pattern papers that are cut the same way, so what I'll do next is pull in that green checked pattern paper and get that cut down to the right size. I will start out again by cutting 5 1/4 inches off the top, and then another strip of 5 1/4 inches. Now what I'm going to do is cut strips that are 1 7/8 inches wide until I get 8 pieces. Next, I will take my 6 card base cardstocks and cut these right in half at 5 1/2 inches. So now I have 2 pieces that are 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. The other 2 pieces of craft cardstock I'm going to cut down into 12 pieces that are 3 by 4. So here I have my 12 3 by 4 cards. And finally for the cutting, actually not finally, because later I will cut more of the off-white for my sentiment, but I'm not going to cut that paper yet until I know exactly how I would like to place that on the card. But this, for my inside note, I'm going to cut these to 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And the reason I'm doing it slightly smaller than this piece is just so the entire sentiment can be covered, because sometimes if it's not folded exactly right, or if this isn't adhered in the exact right spot, you might see some of this sentiment paper from the outside, which would not be the end of the world, but I'm just going to cut it a little bit smaller. The next step is going to be folding my card bases. And again, let me show you what the final card will fold like. It will look like this. It might look like it's hard or difficult, but this is so simple to do. All you do is fold your card in half, and then the piece that would be the front, you just fold that back to the fold that you just made. So it's just a little Z fold there. And I will do that with all of these, so I'll have my 12 card bases. And I'll finish folding these and I'll be back. Originally, I thought that this would be a two-part card making video, but unfortunately, as I went to edit it, I am already over 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I will be back in a couple hours with part 2, where I show you how I put the card bases together. Make sure to hit subscribe and the bell for notifications if you're not already, so you know immediately when I have uploaded that video. See you soon!